All right, so this is going to be what I believe will be an easy recurring stream that I can do when I'm driving to the gym. I do go to the gym 5, 6 days a week. Ideally, I try to go 6 days a week. And today has just been one of those days between the car getting the OptiSeal applied today and a couple other things that came up in my day. I'm actually getting to the gym. I usually like to go to the gym around 11 to 1 o'clock in the day, in the middle of my day. But today is one of those days where it's Friday and it's already after 5 o'clock and I'm just now getting in the car. But it takes about 20-25 minutes to go from home to the gym, and I figured this is a great time where I could do a quick live stream and have a topic. So I want to call these streams Corvette Chat, and today's topic is going to be jobs. So I wanted to talk to you guys about best, worst job, funny work stories, your current job, your dream job, anything work related, because today I had some work related stuff that kept me from getting to the gym earlier than this, but we're on the way to the gym now, and so I figured on this drive we can talk about our jobs. As part of this talk, I do want to talk about a website that is a wonderful website called myblankjob.com. I actually personally know the designer developer of this site, brilliant young person that coded this site, and has got a great future ahead of him. And this is a good site. It's a resource where people can share work stories, share just a vent even, just to connect with other people and talk about your job and talk about trying to a community of interest around jobs. So without further ado, let me get out my driveway. So we will see how well the connection holds up, because I know a lot of times my connectivity. So, hey, how you doing, Todd? And so, yeah, well, let's talk about jobs today. Best job, worst job, what was your first job? Funny work story. So my first job ever is I was a cart, I guess a bag boy / cart person for a grocery store called Albertsons. That was my very first job. I literally worked there for maybe a week and a half. And it was because I had these, they wanted me to wear all black shoes, and the shoes at the time had a white Nike swoosh on them. And I remember the manager would always be like, "White stripe." He would just yell at me across the store because he'd see me in my black Nikes and the white swoosh symbol on there, and he'd just go, "White stripe." And just kind of like reminded me that I'm supposed to have all black shoes. And so that became kind of an inside joke with a couple of my friends that knew me at the time. And I actually made a very rudimentary song, like a kind of a death metal song of me screaming "White stripe," to kind of remembering the memory of that first job. So the, hey, what you doing, Doctor? I think that's Cosmic. How you doing? So yeah, so that was my first job. One of the funny stories from my first job, the white stripe on my shoes. My second job was at a USA Auto Parts in Louisiana. I was what's called a parts runner. So they would have this big warehouse with big shelves, fork trucks that would load the auto parts in the store. So the storefront where the customers were going to was kind of like an auto zone. The warehouse was this huge warehouse with all these parts. So what would happen is if a salesperson sold someone a part, they would call out over intercom the part number, and as a part runner, I had to run to the aisle, to the shelf, get the part, and run it back to a window. Literally, I was a parts runner, part run back. So what happened during the summer of working there was a lot of football players from the high school that worked in the warehouse with me. And I have two funny stories about it, but I'll share the first one. One day, these football players, these are like linemen, so they're like really burly guys, and they were throwing pallets back and forth. That's what they would do to pass the time. And one day I'm running down the middle of these aisles, and one of them had thrown a pallet, and it just broadsided me, just flattened me down to the ground. And I ended up having to go to the hospital for it because it really took out my back. But yeah, that was my parts runner story. The second story at this warehouse, which is really funny, we had this big industrial fan, and it was summer, and we were just sweating. There's no AC in a warehouse. So we're all standing by this fan, and these big burly football players are like streaming sweat down their arms. And this one guy named Brandon, he was looking at his arms, and he was like, and he was real country, so I'm going to try to imitate his accent. He was like, God dang, I got so much water coming out my arms, it's like I got holes in my skin. And I look over at the guy next to me and I go, it's called pores. And so, there's a couple funny stories from one of my first jobs. So, for the folks joining on this, we see Tanya, first job, Little Caesars Pizza. Hated, and you still won't eat their food. I hear that a lot when people work somewhere like a restaurant, a fast food place, that once they got the inside knowledge of that place, that they'll never eat there again. I hear that often. So I worked at Ryan. So my third job in my life is I worked at Ryan Steakhouse. I was a waiter. And I had so much fun at that job. You ever see that movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds? That's exactly some of the hijinks in that movie were some of the things we would do at Ryan's. I one time took a bunch of honey butter spread. I mixed it up with some slices of banana and some vanilla wafers, and gave it to one of my coworkers. Was talking about wanting some banana pudding, so she actually got us, instead of banana pudding, she got a mouthful of honey butter spread. That was one of the pranks I did. Another prank was a plate of ice. That's too long of a story to go into on this, but yeah, I was a waiter at one time. So best job I ever had. I have to say, actually, being an author is the best job I've ever had, because I only answer to myself. I make my own schedules, my own publication schedules. You know, I have complete freedom of the story and how I create it. So being an author, I think, is the best, my dream job, my best job I've ever had. Doing cybersecurity is good too, but it's nowhere near as creative and as fun as being an author. So why don't you guys share, what are your dream jobs? What are your worst jobs, job stories? Because today's topic is all about jobs. And if you're checking out in the description, I have a link to myblankjob.com. I want to shout them out because it's a great website for sharing work stories. It's a community of about, complaining about your job, talking about what your dream job is. Like what we're talking about today is all these conversations are perfect for that website. And I personally know the person that coded that site, brilliant young man, and really wish him well in his future, and just wanted to talk about his site a little bit while we're talking about jobs. So let's see, we got crazy stuff. Hi back at you. Corvette go skirt. Well, I'm on Research Parkway, so I can't really go that fast, but give you a little bit of, don't know if you can really hear that engine roar. Let me set this into sport mode, and we see if we can get the engine to get a little bit louder. Right. So I've got to be mindful. I'm hitting the school zone. So, well, actually, it's after 5 o'clock, so no school zones. What we got here? Zeker Dog, huge fan. Hey, thanks. Shout out to you. How much did it cost? So my particular Corvette, I have the Z51 Performance Package. I have the 2LT package, and with all the other accessories I added, it was about 85, 86K. So we're talking about jobs today, so let's do this chat. So I'm actually on my way to the gym, and what I like to do with these Corvette chats, as I'm calling them, is just for the next 20, 25 minutes of driving to the gym, just have a topic of the day. We can talk about it. People can share, today's topic is jobs. So let's talk about your best job, your worst job, funny work job stories. What's your dream job? Anything related to jobs and work. So let's talk about it. Thank you for the car comments. So what's your worst job? I think my worst job was probably the auto parts warehouse, because I did hurt my back there. It was just miserable. I mean, every day just sweating. It was, Louisiana, Hammond, Louisiana, sweating every day nonstop. I think I weighed 170 back then, and it was just brutal. Summers working in that warehouse were brutal. Let's see. Thank you for the car comments. So guys, share, what was your first job? First job stories, funny job stories. I got so many funny job stories from Iraq, but there's certain ones I can. So one time in Kuwait, we had some defense contractors that were in transient apartments, and this one guy, he was a FSR, field service rep, so he would go to Iraq, babysit some equipment, come to Kuwait. And one time, me and another guy, we dressed up with face mask and dish dashes, so we looked like we were like Arabic terrorists, and we stormed his room early one morning and pretended that we were going to kidnap him. That was a pretty aggressive prank. He actually fainted, and I remember he passed out, and I'm freaking out that he passed out. So I'm leaning over him, I'm calling out his name over and over again, and I'm standing over him, and he starts to come to, and so I realized that I still have my face mask on. I have the mask over, my ski mask over my face, and so he wakes up and he starts to scream, seeing the face mask of me standing over. So I lift the mask up to show my face, so I'm like, hey man, it's me. He screams even louder when I take the mask off. So he was like, ah! And he was like, ah! And it was, yeah, that was a prank that went, that could have went really south fast. So I never did that one again. Let's see. What else we got here? 12th grade. Want to major in cybersecurity. My worst job, let me try to read it, was working at the pool. So working at the pool, was you like cleaning the pool? Was you a lifeguard? Can you share a little bit about what you was doing at the pool? So 110 degree heat in Florida, that's no joke. So let me, so any funny job stories? So we got the pool, 110 degrees in Florida. Thanks for sharing that one. All right, let me take this down to tour mode. Cleaning the pool and checking people's passes. Okay, did you ever have someone that was like, didn't have a pool pass, but yet felt like, did you ever get that, do you know who I am? Like some people get when, people feel entitled. Karens, yeah, that don't have pool passes. Thanks, Grumpy Horticulturist. Thanks for the comment there. Hey, Adams, the one and only. What's up with you? We're talking about jobs today. So the topic on this Corvette chat that I'm calling this is jobs. Your best job, your worst job, your dream job, funny work job stories. So let's share them. Worked in security, and all I got was entitlement. Yeah, people just think like, you don't know who I am? Like, no, I don't. So I used to work for Verizon, had customers threaten to call the police. Like, I'm going to call the cops on you. I love how people are quick to either threaten police or lawsuits, and they don't have an understanding of both criminal matters and civil matters. That happens all the time. I mean, because just people think you can sue over anything, and even though realistically you can, there's a lot of frivolous lawsuits, but a lot of times people don't understand that there's our court systems are so backlogged and everything because of frivolous lawsuits. But a lot of folks don't really have the true understanding of what it takes to do a lawsuit and the difference between a civil and a criminal matter. I think a lot of times when people threaten the police, they just think the police can solve all the problems, but they have so many limitations on what they can really do when it comes to civil matters. All right, so what else we got here? I usually have to put 30 tons worth of dirt on the surface. Ooh, okay, I didn't see the earlier part of that. I got someone that works at the dispensary, and now I have the right to refusal. People are in disbelief. Yeah, I mean, again, entitled customers, are I'm sure a pain in the butt to deal with. I did a lot of my work in cyber. I deal with a lot of folks that are in uniform, and so a lot of times they don't like to hear that failure is an option. And I'm quick to tell them failure is always an option, and I explain thoroughly why it's an option. Sometimes people don't want to hear that, but the truth hurts. What do we got here? So I did make a couple of you guys moderators, so I appreciate the help there. So again, for those of us joining this live stream, we're talking about jobs. This is what I'm calling my Corvette chat. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic, to get to my gym. And I figured this is something I could do on a regular basis where I call it Corvette chat. I put a topic. Today's topic is jobs. And so we can just have a chat, talk about it, and share some stories. Trying to think of some other funny work stories. Oh, goodness. I know one time I told somebody I took a bunch of carbonated water, put a bunch of tables. This is when I worked at Ryan's Steakhouse as a waiter. It was a bright, sunny day, but inside they had, the the tinted window, so you can't really immediately see that it's sunny outside. So what had happened was I put all this carbonated water across all these tables in the back of the restaurant, and I grabbed a big bucket and I handed it to this guy and I said, "Hey man, you got to get back here. There's water pouring down the ceiling. You need to, collect all the water." So he's standing there looking at the ceiling, holding this big tub, looking at the ceiling because he sees water dripping off all the tables. And then of course we're in the front of the restaurant just laughing our butts off at him. So that was another one of the work pranks I did back when I was a waiter. If anyone's seen that movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, when you work in a restaurant, there's so many hijinks you do, shenanigans. In fact, I think that was the name of the restaurant in the movie Waiting, was Shenanigans. I believe so. Anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see, hoping to do animation. So dream job is doing animation. That's pretty cool. A friend of mine went to Full Sail, I believe, in Orlando, Florida, which is a good school for, I think, sound, anything animation, film related. So, what school are you going to for animation? Or are you self-learning, self-teaching yourself? Pay attention to where I'm driving to. And of course, it's after 5 o'clock, and we're getting a little bit of the 5 o'clock traffic here in the Woodlands. So this chat may actually go longer than 20-25 minutes. I worked at Taco Bell and caught my coworker hitting a dad in the bathroom. So I heard about Taco Bell. Someone said something about the meat. What was it about the meat recently? Because I have a friend of mine that is sensitive to omega, like omega-3 and beef in general. But they can have the Taco Bell beef because it doesn't have any omega-3 in it or something. So I guess it's not really real beef. Can anyone that ever worked at Taco Bell or happens to know confirm that Taco Bell beef isn't real beef? Hey, Joshua from Kenya. Thanks. You have a good day as well. Tommy sees Cat saying, "I like being rich, but I don't want to work." Yeah, who wants to, who wants to work? I mean, the idea that I'm going to lease my life for a predetermined amount, whether you're working by the hour or on salary, it's, when you start to look at it as I'm leasing my life, and I start to work, I got to go somewhere, do some things that ultimately is going to make someone else rich, then come back home, try to recuperate, just to rinse and repeat it again, and do this for like 20 plus years of my life, hoping that I get some kind of savings or retirement. I know I'm kind of being depressing here with that, and then the sunset years of my life, I hope that I could take it easy then, after I wasted all the best years of my life making other people rich. It's in a sense, and once I put it that way, it's like insanity, right? When you really think about a job. And so when you start to like think about how sucky your job is, or how hey, how you doing, Clarence? I think it was Clarence. So if you want to complain about your job, if you want to talk about your job or talk about resources for jobs, myblankjob.com. It's going to be in the description of this video. It's a great site for people that want to complain. Complain about your current job. Talk about what your dream job is. Just talk about anything work related. Myblankjob.com. Thumbs up on it. It's a young kid. He's got a super bright future ahead of him. Whatever he decides to do in IT or security, I know he's going to do great things. I don't want to say his name on this stream, but I know him personally. Really, really sharp. One of the smartest young people I know, and he's responsible for that site existing. So check it out. Participate on it. Share your job stories on myblankjob.com. So what else I got? One of my coworkers. I'm about to stop here, and I can read what you're saying. One of my coworkers was so big she broke the chair in the break room. I kid you not. The firefighters came and had to bring the extra large stretcher for her. She apparently sued the facilities. Oh wow! Hey, Shammy, while you was on my my stream earlier, welcome back. They have literal noodles. You put them in a deep fryer and they expand. Okay. Yeah, Taco Bell sounding more and more appealing by the minute in this chat. My train is more important than I thought it would be. Yes, I mean, I'm a big fan of vocational schools. I'm a big fan of any kind of learning program that's going to, set you up for success. I don't personally have a college or university degree. I have a lot of certifications and a lot of training I've taken in my career. I'm a big advocate of a lot of hands-on, and I think in cyber is that rare exception to the rule. There's a lot of industries you have to kind of have that formal, accredited institutional learning. But, okay, that source, people like her make avoid discrimination, avoid lawsuits. So, yeah, I know, talking about jobs and works, and we're talking about fast food. The most famous lawsuit, I think, was the McDonald's coffee. But the misconception on it, I believe, from what I recall, is that it wasn't that she didn't know the hot coffee was hot. It was that the degree of how hot it was, I believe, was the main point of why she won all the money she won in the lawsuit, because of how hot the coffee was, not that it was hot coffee. I know, when you get down to the end of the day, it seems like, that seems silly, but, that's why we got warning labels on things and why we have all these safety guidelines and restrictions, is to kind of protect ourselves from ourselves. So, all right, so I'm getting close to the gym. So last gas, this is about jobs. So, yeah, caution, hot thing. Is this hot tea hot? Celebrity Jeopardy shout out. SNL had a hot or cold category. And I think they had Ricky Martin. It was a video daily double. And Ricky Martin was like, is this hot tea hot, or is it cold? And the celebrities couldn't get it, which is what was the brilliant part of that bit. The job. So to wrap this up, we got about 5 more minutes because I'm about to be at the gym. Today we're talking jobs. Anyone wants to share their first job, worst job, best job, dream job, funny job story? Let's do it. Common sense again. Give it up for Gorilla Glue Girl. I saw that, there was a meme, Betty White, a picture of Betty White was like, I lived to be this old and knew already to never put Gorilla Glue in my hair. So, I mean, that's on the same level of people eating Tide Pods and, doing things that are viral. So yeah, I think society as a whole, even though a lot of us do have common sense, there's a group of people that are lacking it. As they say, common sense isn't so common. So, hey Sandra. So we're talking jobs. I'm going to be parking real soon, so I'm going to give about 5 more minutes on the stream. That reminds me of the floor appears to be made of the floor. Yeah. The thought that just popped in my head when I read about the floor, there's a Key and Peele bit called Manly Tears. It's, of all the Key and Peele bits, Manly Tears is one of my favorite ones, but there's a part where the guy's crying about his friend being shot and dragged in the river or found in the river that morning. And so his name's Carvel, and he's like, crying and blubbering about his friend, talking about how they used to spend the whole day debating which Care Bear there was, and they would pretend the floor was lava. And and the guy next to him would keep going, those are manly tears. And then he'd be like, go ahead, Carvel. I love that bit. That's one of my favorite Key and Peele bits. So I'm going into the networking aspect of things. I'm taking the Security Plus in April. All right, just passed my Net Plus. And A Plus, so you're going for the CompTIA Trio, Zeker Dog. So that is what I call the CompTIA Trio. Net Plus, A Plus, Security Plus, again, all great ones to have. I'd highly recommend that once you get your Security Plus, either look at CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, because it'll build upon the stuff you're already learning. CompTIA CASP, the CASP cert is pretty good, but the problem is you already have a bunch of CompTIA. So my recommendation is kind of like with funds and stocks, you want to diversify your portfolio, right? So you want to diversify your certification. So instead of having everything in CompTIA, I would either recommend a CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, because that'll kind of marry well, or the one you really want, if I'm being brutally honest, is CISSP. You want to CISSP is, once you have that one, that's going to open up so many doors in cybersecurity for you. All right, so what we got here? I have to go cook. All right, Zombie Fox, thanks for joining the chat. Let's see. McDonald's coffee machine was broken, didn't regulate the temperature. That's right. Yep. It was so hot it melted. Yep. Investing. So we'll do that on another Corvette chat. We'll talk about investments. We'll talk about some strategies. I can talk about what I do personally. A lot of people always ask me about cryptocurrencies because I'm an expert in cryptography, so I get asked that almost on a daily basis. But I could definitely do an investing stream on one of these Corvette chats. Zeker Dog, thanks for your chiming in about the cyber certs, and congratulations on the 2 you passed. I mean, kudos to you. And the Security Plus, once you knock that out, I'm gonna recommend something to you if you're still studying for your Security Plus. Is look on YouTube for Professor Messer. Professor Messer has free videos for Security Plus that you can watch. He does a really great job of explaining everything in his video series, and it's for free. So Professor Messer on YouTube for your Security Plus, man, it'll help you out. And do a Google search for the Beyond the CIA triad. It's a paper I wrote. If you find that online, if not, send me a message on either DM me on Instagram, on FormerlyME's Instagram, with your email, and I will email you a PDF of a security paper I wrote that's going to help you pass your certifications a lot easier. I'll get you that, no problems. Gasper, thanks for the comment. Jalen, thanks for the comment. No, you watch Professor Messer. He's the reason for us. He's awesome. In fact, my topcyberpro.com website includes Professor Messer's Security Plus video series. So he's a great guy. Wonderful guy. So good job that you already did that, Zeker Dog. Awesome on you. Well, look, guys, unless someone has a real quick story to share that we can talk about, I'm going to be wrapping up because I'm here. Need to go to the gym, and I got an hour cardio ahead of me and about 2+ hours of weight training. I'm still working towards my slam dunk challenge on the end of this month, on March 31st. I'm going to a basketball court, live streaming my attempt to slam dunk again at 44 years old. I haven't done it since I was 19, 20 years old. Back then I weighed like 170 pounds. I'm sitting at about 290 right now. Will I be able to do it again? Will I do it? Will I tear an ACL like Tom Segura did in that video? And so we'll see. So I'm going to live stream it. There is a GoFundMe link in the description below. If you want to help, contribute towards the Child Mind Institute, all that money on GoFundMe goes directly to that nonprofit. Just trying to raise some money, doing this challenge and try to do some good in the world. So Shammy, Tommy C, thank you all you guys. Sandra, thank you. Like I said, I think I'm almost at $200 of 1,000. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks I can meet my goal of raising $1,000 for Child Mind Institute. Again, I live by the mantra, be the change you want to see in the world. So hopefully, through this and these streams, I can reach that goal. And I hope that you guys can help me do that. So, well, thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Great chat today. So this is what I'm going to call my Corvette chat. I plan to do this as often as I can when I'm driving from home to the gym. It's about 20-25 minutes. Today I had a little bit of traffic, so this was running about 28 minutes. We'll have a topic of the day, and I'll engage with you guys. We'll talk about things. Today's was jobs. In the description is myblankjob.com. Please check out that website. Participate it. Talk about your job stories and experiences, and it's a great community on that website. And with that, that's been FormerlyME. Thank you, everyone on the chat.